brand, I think, is figuring that out right away. As we said, from early stages, you don't have to have a lot of money to start positioning yourself with a certain way. But the next thing I think is just as important, and you touched on it, and how we grow our brand is budget, marketing budget, allocating budget. What do you, we'll give a little cookie away to folks who aren't members. What do we typically tell people? What percentage of revenue should contractors, allocate for their marketing efforts?
Ideally, what you want to see is around 10% of your projected revenue is going to be going toward marketing. For electricians. That's going to be a bit higher, usually around 14%. But you really want to carve out enough budget so that you can invest to become the growth that you want to see.
Absolutely. Now, how does that change much as a business scale, or do you always try to tell people to stay in those ranges?
That's really the growth numbers that we want to see. And then depending on how what your business goals and how they shift according to time, that percentage can go up or down a little bit. If you're in more of aggressive growth mode, you might tack another percent or two on, but it's an informed business decision. Or if you are more in kind of hit where I want to hit, but I don't want to lose anything, then that percentage may trend down a little bit. Or if you're like several of our members that I've talked to lately that are just like the ones that you were mentioning earlier, who got on the bandwagon as soon as we started preaching to them years ago of building their brand and making that investment, that they don't have to invest as much in the call to action, pay-per-click, all of these things that take up so much of your budget, because they built such a strong brand and presence in their community. People know them. So what little elements, just the little campaigns they do have an outsized reaction or return based on just the groundwork that they did early.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. Branding is like the flamethrower to whatever you do in terms of marketing that's direct call to action type stuff, because because people know you're not a stranger, and there's that familiarity breeds some kind of comfort. And the other thing I wanted to follow up what you said was great is, at no point are we ever going to tell anyone to spend nothing, right? You can't drop it down to 1 or 2%, because the people I know, and maybe your experience has been this, that have spent money on branding, but also continue to spend money, even in the heydays, and I got more calls than I know what to do with a couple years ago. They're the ones that are busy now because they continue to invest. They didn't turn it off. So I think don't you agree? I think that's just so important.
Absolutely, because if you think about it, there's a degree of mind share that's available in your service area. And so what your marketing is to take up as big a piece of that percent of mind share that you can. And if you drop out of that race, unless you're the only contractor in your area, and I ask every EP if they have anybody that's the only contractor in their area, haven't found one yet. So there's always going to be somebody going after that mind share. And, one of the things that we learned, especially during COVID, is the people that pulled out, that mind share was still available. So the savvy and a lot of our most successful members went in there and upped their marketing budget from an awareness standpoint and grabbed that mind share. And when you come back in, the mind share doesn't automatically return to you because it used to be there.
That's right.
It's gone. So that's the opportunity for, in times of plenty, is branding and building that and taking that mind share. But if you pull out of it, you have to fight to get it back, which is why we never say go to 0%, because there's always somebody that's going to be investing to try to take that hard-earned market share that you've already built for yourself.